When I was in another place up in St. Louis, I met some sisters who, at that time, this was in the 80s, they were just first coming out with meetings for adult children of alcoholics. So I was blessed that somebody said, hey, Jean, you might be interested in finding out about this. And it was a little bit hard because my dad was on a pedestal. I did everything with my dad. And even though I found his behavior strange when he would drink and not drink, they were two different people. But I just wouldn't let myself accept that. It was doing the program that I finally came to him one day and I said, how do you know if you've got a problem? Well, why do you ask? I said, well, I'm just hearing all this stuff, and how do you know when you've crossed the line? And if I don't want to turn out like my dad. I don't want to be a mean drunk. Because at that point I was a happy drunk, careless, driving, but I was a happy drunk. My dad was a mean drunk. So I didn't want to get like that. We have a test, questions, and it was funny because when I started I thought I'm going to prove I don't have a problem. But as I was answering the questions, did you ever have a blackout? I said no. And I thought, that's not true. Because I can remember at times driving, leaving somewhere, and saying, oh, I'm home. Missing the space in between. So I'm answering the questions, and all of a sudden I'm feeling like I wanna pass this test. I knew I had a problem. Well, I passed the test, so then they said, well, we really think you need to come in for inpatient, the 28-day program. So I got the permission from my, the counselor from our provincial office to do that. And my biggest concern with her at that point, I said, well, if I'm going into this program, what are people gonna think? And she said, well, what do they think now, Jean? I thought, oh, I don't know, really. I didn't care. So I did the program, which was a real eye-opener for me. When I went in there, it was with drug addicts. So I thought, I don't need to be here with them. They're worse. And well, it didn't take too long to find out. I was in the same boat, just a different choice. So I had gone to AA meetings, and I had also gone through therapy to deal with some of the being an adult child of an alcoholic issues. And I was doing fine with that. 10 years later of sobriety, it's like my life began falling apart. Part of it was I had gone to Honduras to work. And it's very poor, very different culture. It's something I really wanted to do, and I was happy being there, but not realizing going to a whole different culture, the effect that can have on us. It's one thing visiting, but I was there for like 9-10 months. That's a long period of time. And I liked what I did, but it was like I was losing control of my emotions, my feelings, and I knew something was really wrong. And luckily, one of our counselors at the time was also a recovering alcoholic, and she knew I was in the program. And I wanted to stay in Honduras, and they said, nope. They had me on a plane like 2 days later, and I came back to St. Louis. And then it was, we really want you to go into another treatment program, guest house. My priority was being there with the people and not taking care of myself in the midst of it. So I literally fell apart. Came to guest house, and then I realized that I had just had a spiritual, emotional breakdown. And getting back with the program, getting back with hearing all the stuff I needed to hear, therapy, the group sessions, the individual counseling. I was able to accept what had happened. And it's interesting because up until this point, I didn't stop to think that I didn't get to meetings when I was there. There was my breakdown. I know it now. That's the beauty of the program. We learn.